friend Pixel Pat, our best friend
Pixel
Pat?
Pete.
Pixel P.
Pixel P.
No, you're looking all right now. I think.
Yeah, you fixed.
Crispy Pete.
Fixed himself.
The music revived me.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that music, it's still slow, and it gets me thinking about life.
Oh.
It's like, when you're a kid and that music, it sounded so nice and fast and refreshing. Novel. And you're like, this is great. This is a jam. I love life. And then after, a couple decades go by, it's like
being beaten down with the same music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
I was thinking about it too. I was thinking I want to pull out a stopwatch next time and see if it's actually 30 seconds or if it really slowed down.
But you could you go back too in some of the episodes and just time it up and see what.
I mean, either it slowed down, so either it was less than 30 seconds before and they fixed it, or they just slowed it down and now it's more than 30 seconds. Right?
What could be the same countdown, same amount of time, and they just distort the audio?
Oh.
Like a frequency thing. So it's just less
exciting
cycles, per
less
whatever.
novel, less
physics,
fun, less happy.
But still goes
less
for the same
happy.
duration.
Oh, whoa, Grant. Speaking of which, look at happiness. What's that on your wrist there?
Oh yeah, I got a brace now.
No more yellow cast.
No more yellow cast, which I think psychologically it was not as good as purple. So if you guys ever find yourself needing to get a cast, get a purple cast. People will be nicer to you. No one liked the cast when it was yellow.
They all disapprove.
I mean, I went out one night with the purple cast, and I couldn't even get like across the street. Like we were going from one bar to the next. Like people were just stopping me constantly to be like, "What happened?" And then I got the yellow cast, and no one gave a fuck. No one.
This guy's a loser.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
purple just stands out so much more.
Dude, did you see my yellow cast? It was like neon yellow. It stood out.
Stood out just in a weird way,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like-
maybe it's like an
it's a weirdo.
attention kind of.
Yeah, like it's
seeking
like,
behavior.
oh, exactly. Like, oh, this guy wants us to see that he has a cast. Fuck this guy.
So you
How-
got any
what do you-
compliments, Stan?
I'm sure he broke his wrist.
Probably doing something non-flattering too.
Well, I want to, before we get into it,
Yeah. Hit me.
I want to share a story, a little update.
Yeah. What is it?
It's personal. In my personal life, I went through a breakup recently, and it's been kind of tough. And as of most recent, I've been blocked from everything. I reached out. I was just trying to make contact. I was just trying to be friendly. I was cut out.
You were blocked.
And
Yeah.
I was blocked. And what I had done, I think there's two reasons why I was doing this. One, to see like, oh, I guess I'm still fucking blocked. And it's like it's almost like a journal. I would like send things to the blocked number and you would see they're not delivered, but it was like kind of cathartic, like when there are things that came up that reminded me of her, I would send them
Just send it to
her way.
out into the ether. You're like,
Yeah,
It's like
Apple-
writing
Apple
letters to
servers.
people you hate to like let it out. You
And
But
then
I'm
like
actually
burning.
sending them to the address.
Yeah,
Oh.
but it was all, it was all positive. It was
Yeah.
like
No hate. Like,
no hate, nope.
Hey,
it was
bitch,
like
like,
a
what are
photo.
you
It was.
doing?
I think all of them were photos actually of just like memories or like things that would remind me of her. And then I kind of had like a rough weekend. I'm still processing this, so I kind of maybe went into the little angry phase, and so. Before that, she, I guess, unblocked me. And so I just sent
send some.
horrible human being.
Was there like a funny picture though, like caption that?
No. And it says delivered.
Oh my god.
I'm
Yo,
like
dude,
scroll.
like-
You like scroll up. It's like
like, I
a picture of her
can't
cat.
believe this.
Like this thing that like, and then I'm like horrible human being is like delivered, and that's all she sees, right? I'm like, you gotta be
Yeah,
fucking kidding me.
Oh my god, man. Dude, that's
Like, you can't make
unbelievable.
this up. Like,
Yeah, that's straight out of a TV show. You're like, oh my god, he really did that. Oh shit. So I'm assuming there was no response to that as well.
I kind of like flumbered and said, or
You know, if
I
You
was like,
backtracked it?
no, I was just like, I've been using this to process shit. It's been hard lately. I didn't expect it to be delivered. And then I got
you got a like.
the thumbs up emoji.
Oh, okay, an emoji. It's one half step above a react.
Yeah.
Damn, Grant, that's some bad luck there. I'll tell you. I mean, there wasn't the cat or the nice sunshine or whatever. It's the angry, rage-induced
It's
text.
like
The first time, you're like, fuck, this is the first time. I just wanted to...
And like what I said, like horrible human being, like I think that's worse than like fuck you. Like I think it could be worse than like, I'm just like horrible human being, like you're an awful person versus like me being angry and lashing out, I don't know. I
think it's bad either way. I mean, bad timing. You got timing, bro.
Unlucky.
Timing, bro.
So
I thought I'd
she
share
didn't
that.
block you, though.
I don't think so. I don't know. I could be blocked now. Like the only way to check if you're blocked
the only way
is
you
to
check
send
is you
more
gotta
stuff. So
And that excuse of, hey, you wouldn't believe this, but I actually sent all these good things.
yeah, I was like,
for you.
dude, I'm like, I mean, if she wants to talk, we can talk. But there's no like, I mean, if I take a screenshot, like what she's probably gonna, like,
Then
did
you're
I
just,
go
like,
in
off
and
the
like,
deep end, man.
yeah, exactly, like.
Hey,
Yeah,
know
it's
that you
good.
unblocked me.
Leave
Let
it.
me send you screenshots of everything I've delivered in the past month.
Wait, do you want to see my personal journal, too? I could just take pictures of, like, my notebook,
Yeah, because you kind of get used to it. You're like, I mean, it's just, you don't expect that state to change. And you're like, fire some shit off here.
Yeah,
on.
it's a little
You go, huh?
cathartic.
What that?
I wonder
Totally
why
weird. It was like
it
9 a.m.
happened.
too. I was like,
Grant just woke
Start
up and
your
chose
day.
violence.
yeah, I'm like,
Grant
this
woke
is
up, he's
too.
just
I haven't had my
horrible
coffee
human
yet.
being.
Just staring at the phone, like, what?
Good
Googling,
morning
like,
to you,
can be
Grant.
delivered if still blocked. Google. No, if it's delivered, you've
Awkward.
been unblocked. God,
Which is
well,
weird because then I was like, well, why'd you unblock me?
That's what I was
Like,
wondering.
do you want
That's-
to talk? Like, you want to talk or anything?
That's a
And
question
I
that's
got
getting
nothing.
nowhere.
It didn't get anywhere.
Yeah,
I got no
I can
response.
tell you that.
I don't. Whatever.
I think it's more like, I don't think there's any space to move forward. It's just like a reset. It's like, all right, reset, but also leave it alone. Because a block, I think, inherently is, a negative thing. And maybe you're like, all right, I don't want to talk to this person, but I also don't want to block this person.
I no longer need, like, that much space.
I need some more space now.
Restraining
Grant,
order.
Silver lining, your misery is our listeners' entertainment.
Yeah, no, I thought I have to. I was just thinking like,
Just
I'm just like
unbelievable.
horrible human being delivered. Like, it's hilarious. It's just like, yeah, sitcom-y.
Yeah, right out
you're
of
like,
there.
what the fuck?
I can't believe that. It's just not even like you like sent it kind of like drunk and then you woke up the next day and you saw it, but it was just right in the morning.
Delivered.
Oh, delivered.
Sleepy Grant just
All right, Grant,
had
we're
a
gonna need you
bad
on the
dream.
call. You got any updates for us, Grant? You're like,
What did you? Can you repeat that? Sorry, I was multitasking.
I just asked for updates, Grant. You got any?
Oh, no. No deliverables.
Okay. All Are you blocked? That's a little too meta for us.
I said no deliverables, Quinn. Get it?
Yeah, and then I
get
asked, you didn't deliver anything, so I asked if you were blocked, on your work. Do you have any blockers?
Oh, yeah, I do have a major blocker. Actually, it's just been unblocked. So,
okay. That's
false
great.
alarm.
Good to hear.
I couldn't do anything for the whole week, but I'm unblocked. I'll pick it up
awesome
Monday.
news there, Mr. Farmer.
Why
No
not
one
tomorrow?
says whoever says calls you Mr. like in the workplace, like last name.
I don't know, Mr. Maybe we should change the trend, Mr. Farmer.
Okay.
I think like Indian scammers call you that.
People call me Mr. Manning.
Do they?
Yeah.
Why?
Are
Who?
they like new people or older
Are they
people?
like kissing your ass?
No, just random people.
Female, male? What?
Both.
All right,
Mr.
that's-
Manning.
That's something.
Roman calls me Mr. Manning Quinn.
But in a funny way or a serious way?
Seriously.
I could see funny. I'd be like, hey, Mr. Manning, take a look at these numbers. You go,
Nope,
Mr. Manning,
serious.
we need that.
Well, it's not like it's in between. I don't know. I don't know.
How you doing, Mr. Manning?
Fucking life is strange.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mr. Manning.
Mr. Manning.
I'm not.
All right, Mr.
Mister?
Farmer, what do we got going on today?
Well, let's just get over. We were ambushed with a music album review
Oh,
last week.
Whoa. You were.
by Pixel Pat?
That's
Pixel Bat
a
ambushed us.
strong terminology.
He is. I don't know. I felt ambushed.
Grant did not want to listen to anyone but Pusha T and felt slighted by having to review a new up-and-coming hip-hop artist.
Yeah.
Ambush.
You guys want
Some would say.
ambush? Do you guys want to go?
Sure. Well, I think the only reason it's relevant was because we were reviewing something that you wanted to review last week, Pusha T's It's Almost Dry album, and we saw the Pitchfork rating was higher than normal, and Pat noticed.
Oh yeah, yeah. I understand.
Right? It
And
was
so the
reviewed by
same reviewer
guy.
reviewed this album, gave it a higher rating, and had a tag Best New Music with it.
So
That makes sense.
and that album is DFTK by Young KO. I think he's 17 or 18 years old. Young Thug, protege. I didn't really know anything going into this project.
Neither did I.
But I listened to it, and my review is it's pretty good. All right, maybe in between there. I enjoyed it more than Pusha T's album. It's hardly an album. It's like 35 minutes, but had some nice.
Those are, I think, albums. The medium has changed because I feel like 30 minutes is kind of like standard these days.
I was
Get
gonna say the
stream counts
opposite. I've seen a lot of like hour 15 pluses with a bunch of filler and a bunch of trash, at least in the hip hop space, where it's like, oh, dude, you don't need half these songs.
Donda.
But I think, like Pat says, it contributes to your streaming numbers, boosts them up, and you get more of that moolah. So, what did you think, Pat?
I listened to the album 3 times in the first 2 days after the podcast, and then I forgot about it. So it wasn't very memorable, but like while I was listening to it, I did enjoy it. But then I just forgot about it completely. Didn't save any songs.
You didn't
But-
save any songs.
No, but I did like it while I listened. Like I listened to it. I looped
it was
it.
a
So like I
pleasant
listened
experience.
to it. Yeah, I listened to it, and then I liked it, and I listened to it again, like in the same sitting. And then the next day I listened to it one more time. And I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. And I just never thought about it again. So I don't know what that means, but that's that was my
Generally,
experience.
I mean, if you have fond memories, the two I liked the most were this the opening track, Down, One Count. Thought it was a good opening. and then Who You Gonna Call, which is more of a melodic songy. They're all kind of like these trap futuristic beats. Reminds me a bit of Playboi Carti, Young Thug, mixed with SoundCloud artists like XXX Tentacion. A bit of rage music. Like it might be fun in an event.
Is it rage though?
I don't think it's rage. I think you need the environment.
Yeah. And it
You need
was
the crowd trampling
You just need a
Astro
big ass
World.
bass, boom, boom, and you're like, oh my god, you got 8
Yeah, the
drinks
beats
in
would
ya.
go crazy for some of them.
But it sounds like you didn't like it that much, Grant. So let's hear what.
I didn't say
Ambushed.
that. I totally like this. I just did not make the connection that this was shoot off from the Pusha T album. So like you're saying either you were on Pitchfork and then you saw that the same reviewer reviewed this. Yeah, I didn't. I thought this was something you wanted to listen to for a while.
No, I don't think anyone knows.
Never heard. Nope.
That's yeah. So that's my bad. That's where the ambush thing came from. I formally apologize, Mr. Man.
Thank you. I accept your apology. Formally.
DFT. So this is
K.
you know
Can't forget the K.
DFTK. You know, there's different music for different folks. This is not. I'm like, I can't. It's painful for me to get through one song of this kind of music. I really detest everything. I thought "Hear You" was comically bad. I thought it was so bad with like the singing voices in the back. I was like, this sounds so bad. How is this? I'm surprised you guys enjoyed parts of it. I thought it was bad. I don't know. I thought it was like
There are
not.
a lot. I didn't write any of the exceptionally bad songs down, but
There's some high highs and low lows.
In a lot of artists, there is like lazy and almost painful to listen to songs where it's it's like repeating the same bar over and over, and very little creativity in flow, delivery, lyrics, whatever. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just more used to it. I just kind of ignore those and listen to the ones I like.
Yeah, I didn't. It's not my cup of tea. My favorite actually probably was Freak. I don't know why. That was the only song that I was like, okay, I kind of like this. But then I felt like it was just kind of like a Lil Dicky, like remind me of like Lil Dicky because like I'm like Let Me Freak by Lil Dicky. And then I listened to that song and then I was like, oh yeah, this is better.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of common themes.
I don't know, like this kind of genre, like it's just really, it's been, I think the most I've gotten into this is like Culture One Migos. Like that's the trappist hip hop that I've enjoyed.
Okay.
And
yeah, that was a great album.
Yeah, I don't think I've never gotten deeper in terms of like more mumble rap, like XXXTentacion, like Sad Boy, like even Juice WRLD. Like none of that stuff has really hit me, and I've enjoyed. But that's not like, I'm not trying to knock the genre. It's just hasn't resonated with me.
Yeah, no, I would have guessed that going into this. I kind of know where Grant's tastes lie. I'm not going to assign it as homework, Grant, but I'm interested if you had the same response to Future's new album, kind of in the same vein of belligerent. I mean, just trap bangers, maybe a little bit more R&B. But he's kind of got a much, much, much larger appeal and fan base. So I don't know if the professionalism at all goes into some of these where maybe they're bad songs because they're just not experienced artists and producers, or could be just the genre you don't like. So
yeah, I think largely it's like the lyrics are. I feel like the lyrics are not meant to be that meaningful and are supposed to be more catchy. And I like really put a lot of weight on lyrics. And the messaging of a lot of these songs is like stuff I do not like get down with.
I'm not in that situation.
Well, it's also like I don't think it's a good message to share. Even like I think it's like hurting
society,
the black youth. Yeah,
yeah.
Like it's not. I
something
mean,
you
Travis Scott is
wanna
not
aspire
a role model, right? Like
we gotta pick a specific song here. That Grant's throwing a lot of
ambushing
we were
Travis
about,
Scott.
We were talking about Future and Young KO. But I see what you mean.
Like, okay, here's I don't like that the culture surrounding Travis Scott's music is rage and destruction and disrespect for even the other fans, and it's all about like stomping on the person below you to get like a next level up versus like you go to electric music festivals where it's like peace, love, unity, respect.
You sound like you're writing a college essay or something. Like,
yeah.
I mean, this
is how my brain works.
I know. I think any fan of any genre, I think they're all
Travis Scott was
they're like heavy metal concerts. They're not as good as blah blah blah. Like people are.
No. I think there's something distinct about Travis Scott was like, and this is just one example that stood out for me and maybe turned me off even more with the genre, but was instigating violence among his crowds, right? And if you know anything about heavy metal, if anyone falls down in the mosh pit, like you were picked up. I mean, like there's no. You're using the music as like a way to vent your emotions, but the respect you have for individuals is always there. And I feel like that's lacking and was a major reason why the Astro World thing happened is because he's instigating it and he's about, you don't give a fuck about the person next to you. It's all about you. Like it's a huge selfish thing. And maybe this is unrelated to the album at this point.
Yeah, we were way off. All I'm going to say is I disagree a lot. There's a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
We want to talk about Future? I mean, I want to. I'm okay with. I'm okay with doing this like album or something to like. I think it's good for me to. I need to be exposed in.
I saved the album, Quinn. I'll check it out.
We're gonna do Future.
I never liked you. Grant
that was just
Travis
something
Scott.
top of mind. I don't know if that's the best homework to give to our friend Mr. Farmer.
All right. Why don't we think by the time we close out, if anything else pops in your head, we'll switch it. But for now, it's Future.
Yeah, because Grant picked one, I picked one. This is Quinn's pick.
All right, I'm gonna pick one. My disagreements were more with Travis Scott and festivals and the dynamics of people being crushed, but later we'll talk about that one later. All right, so DFTK finally. Oh, Grant, what does DFTK stand for? That's what everyone's been wanting to know.
I know it. It's
the most important part of the album. The message.
Don't fuck to know.
Down for the count.
Down for the count. I think they say it in the first song because he's like down.
Why? See, okay, minor, but why? Yeah, why are you spelling things wrong?
C?
Why are you spelling things wrong? I don't. Can
you got an answer
to
for that one, Pat?
Because
he's Young KO.
Yeah.
Not Young Crayola
He's gonna get sued by Riot Games. There's already a KO.
With a slash.
with
He's
a
good.
dash. Oh, or a slash. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm not even gonna look at the Pitchfork score, but I'm gonna go with an under. I don't think it was whatever.
8-2.
8-2. No, wasn't an 8-2. But
They said best new music.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, weirdos write those blogs. I mean, just that's why it's not for the people, man.
I'm okay. We should pull. It looks like every single week they release a new best new album on Pitchfork, so we could.
Of all genres.
Yeah,
I think
looks
they-
like it.
Yeah.
Rock, jazz, electronic, experimental, metal.
Like one for each, or is it just the
No,
the-
one. And yeah, one. It's not every. This one was 3 days. It's like every. It's sporadic, but yes, it looks like
Consistently.
around one. Yeah, consistently, a few a month.
Okay.
See? And this one was not so long ago.
Yeah,
I'm an under, and I'm just gonna use that.
they're gonna
an
go under.
It's an
Under as well.
Under. Okay, maybe there's some potential. I'm a
8 is
huge Young
high,
Thug
man.
fan.
Yeah,
That's why I was kind of interested, you know? I feel like I haven't heard a lot of like new rap, you know, that I've been like that's
See, I
appealed
don't
to
know why.
me.
I feel like I fuck with Young Thug more
He's got
than
some-
most. Like
he's
more than like
unique.
Future.
He's
Yeah.
creative. I mean,
He keeps
Like
you
his-
guessing. His lyrics are actually
voice-
good.
yeah.
Yeah, that might be why. I think I'm a lyricist. Like I think I really put a lot of weight on lyrics.
But also his lyrics are like the worst things you've ever heard. So
worst.
then it's just funny. It's the duality of man.
Yeah, I think he's got a feature on this Future album. That's
Yeah,
pretty
but
bad.
like Eminem
For a
is
nut.
like the worst yet funny because it's over the top. You know, you're like he's talking about like raping his mom. You know, like in a
Whoa,
funny way.
Grant, that's not.
Whoa.
Well,
I'm not-
if
I'm
you
not-
just say
Travis
rape,
Scott.
Yeah, I mean, rage versus
Rage?
rape. Are you serious right now?
Kind of hypocritical.
No, Eminem.
So this week
Yeah, what are we
we
doing
are
today?
reviewing a film, not just any film.
8 Mile.
A top 250 film. It's not 8 Mile. It is Platoon, a 1986 American war film written and directed by Oliver Stone. Didn't he direct like the Harry Potters?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I mean,
He directed a lot of historical movies.
I think he's like a
They're, like,
Vietnam
weird.
vet.
He is.
well, it stars a lot of people. It's based on Stone's experience from the war. A U.S. Army. It follows a U.S. Army volunteer played by the one, the only Charlie Sheen, serving in Vietnam while his platoon sergeant and the squad leader argue over the morality in the platoon and of the war itself. So, Platoon. Patrick. It ended. What emotion was flowing through your veins?
He's making a scrunched face.
It's hard to say because it's not like sad, but it is sad. But you also definitely some adrenaline because Taylor's going on a fucking rampage, and then there's just so many bodies. But then he's getting out of there. It's a lot of weird stuff going on,
Yeah,
I don't know how I
feel like
felt.
there's a lot of.
It's kind of I felt
Arcs.
like empty almost, because I'm like just kind of like hollow. It's like shit.
Like a machine. Like he's just a cog in the machine.
Yeah, and yeah, but like it was like horrible. It was kind of horrible to watch, but also it's just like
he kind of got broken too. He was like the kind of the most moral of them in a lot of ways, or the most you empathize with him
idealistic,
because he was
kind of.
yeah, idealistic, and he's like, how could these, everyone's just animals now, and then he kind of was. After you're in that environment for so long, you kind of turn into, you go into a primal state, It's war.
Yeah,
Yeah, I always
put the red bandana on.
red bandana.
The
Oh yeah, I got. Every time we
Cheese
get
sticks.
a war movie, I think like, oh, here's another war movie. Like, haven't we seen? We've seen a lot of war movies, and they've all been pretty good. and think, oh, what's this one gonna bring to the table that we haven't seen already? And I thought this one was still succeeded.
Good.
I didn't expect the overall message of the film to be more like the morality of your own troops, your own forces, and what's going on there, and the enemies within your own squad or platoon. They're not really focused on the actual skirmishes between two countries. So I think I was like Pat at the end of the film, where it's like, yeah, there's a lot of different emotions. It's a strange phenomena where two sides are fighting each other, but then it's kind of like a business. It's like, I'm always surprised how businesses like even get shit done, like especially like giant businesses. Like there's so many people in play.
There's so
and
much
everyone's
like was like what's the word I'm looking for? Like there's
logistics.
no, but like everything you assume like that like people are gonna waste, like nothing's efficient once you reach that. Like you assume like, oh yeah, like we have to like account for like how inefficient we are in a way. It's like you're aware that, I don't know, everything's bogged down, and like how can everything, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you see companies as like a singular entity. So like, I don't know, GM, Ford come out with a new car. That's all you see. Oh, new car. And you're like the point from going from no car to a brand new car is crazy. I mean, there's so many people involved.
So many, yeah. You think about that's a great example, Quinn. I'm glad you brought it up. You think about the new release of Ford's Bronco.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I've not heard that.
Never heard of it.
Before.
Some lame ass car.
Like
no, it was discontinued in '95, and then it was brought back in 2020. So it was gone for 25 years, and a lot of people responsible for bringing it back. But it's interesting because like when I kind of got it down in the rabbit hole. I was like, buy a house, buy a Ford Bronco. Probably should buy the house, but I kind of wanted to buy the Ford Bronco. Anyways. A lot of the features, the Ford Bronco is a direct competitor with Jeep Wrangler, and like a lot of the features of the Ford Bronco, they bring in front of like groups too. Like it's not just like you got your engineers are coming out with all this shit, and then you like put it in front of the public, and then you get like feedback, and then you like go back to the table and like there's a lot. Like to release a product. I mean, it takes. Long time. We only see that.
When is it done?
That release date. Yeah, you're like, oh, that's sick. That was a sick 2-minute trailer. And you think about even just like making the trailer. Like, how many days and hours did the filming people put into like creating this YouTube trailer of the car?
It's a very good point, because this movie was incredibly low budget, which I wouldn't have guessed.
I wouldn't have guessed either.
$6 million. That's all it took.
Wow.
80s. And at least with cars in the business example that we were talking about, the objective's a lot easier. It's kind of like make as many people happy or make the most money as possible. But with, all these people in a war situation, what is the objective? I mean, to kill the most people? To take over as many cities as possible?
Capture their
the
flag?
Orders.
Yeah.
It's whoever's in charge of you.
You follow those orders.
Yeah, that's
Kill their president?
I mean, really, obviously the objective is to win.
Well, and that's why I think the Vietnam War, especially, and like this film, like highlighted that there was much less of a direct objective than previous wars, and it was very muddied what the goal was. What are we doing there? We're fighting, we're killing villages, we're burning villages down. What are we doing here?
Getting high.
We're getting high. Like,
yeah.
It's versus we're taking down the Nazi regime. Like It's pretty straightforward.
I like those scenes where they were getting high. At first, I didn't know if it was weed or like opium or something.
Yeah.
'Cause they had all
With
those
the
weird
long
pipes.
pipe?
Yeah, I was like, what the? And he's like, oh, my neck doesn't feel in pain anymore. I was like, okay, but I think it was just weed.
Grant was asking last week how popular weed was in, cinema. Dazed and Confused. Would not have expected it to show up in Platoon
Yeah,
as like a
Yeah.
main point. It's kind of
It's
interesting.
It's kind of a split, between the people getting high and they were all peaceful and free thinkers, and then the hardened like assholes who were just drinking all the time,
Playing
playing
poker.
cards and shit.
Yeah.
Team Elias.
I didn't realize this was
Yeah,
another movie.
Team
Yeah.
Elias. That was fucked up. Like I thought like a big, I don't know, one of the biggest moments of the film was when Barnes fucking just killed Elias. Like,
Cold blood.
yeah,
Saw him there, and
you could tell like Elias maybe had a problem with him, but never would have killed him. Like, what the fuck?
no, he never would have killed him, but I think he was going to testify against him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he wanted him dead.
I missed that. What do you mean testify?
So he did that random kind of senseless killing in the
Yeah.
village, and you just can't do that. Just like you
War
can't
crime.
kill like your fellow, war crime. So there's that. I mean, there's a whole judicial process outside of the war that people have to face, but it's kind of like it's weird because it's not like we're in society and we do these things and there's a fast turnaround. It's like this is war. How could there be, in Barnes' case, you just got to do what you got to do. Like fuck the law or whatever. But I think he was planning on testifying against Barnes after everything was over. But then the real question is like, when is it over?
Yeah.
There were a lot of things in this film that I thought it's definitely worth a rewatch because there's so many different people and different storylines going on and objectives for each people that it kind of got confusing on the first watch.
I agree.
Yeah, I didn't catch that trial thing.
Yeah, because they're like, I paused it. He's like, I'm gonna Article 15 your ass or something. I was like, what? Just pause. What the fuck is Article 15? Like, and it's something where if you're like charged with a minor crime that doesn't require a court or a jury or just a judicial system, like basically your commanding officer just decides your punishment and if you're guilty or not. So you're like your livelihood is kind of in their hands.
At their complete discretion.
Yeah, I don't know what the severity of crimes it covers, but they have they're the jury and the judge, jury, executor, whatever that phrase is.
Yeah, and he said that when Taylor was trying to find Elias, right? He was like, "Get back, we're retreating. I'm gonna code 15 your ass or something."
Something.
Like,
yeah.
But then,
guy's scary as fuck too.
then he killed him, which
At the end, yeah.
I was like, yeah, kill him.
And they do it in I think a realistic manner. There's not this long drawn out like speech. He just was like fucking just said like 2 words, like do it, and he just real quick.
They don't even pan to him. I was expecting the pan. I was surprised.
Yeah, they're like the way violence is depicted here is like reminds me of a film which is top 250. It's one of my favorite fucking films. Like if I feel like it's against our podcast law to be like, I want to watch this top 250 because we'll roll it eventually. I fucking love it so much. But City of God is about Brazilian slums, and like the way they depict violence is very similar, where it's not a fucking shootout scene, it's not dramatized. It's like 2 fucking shots and you're fucking on the ground.
Yeah.
you're dead.
So
That's it.
Random
Like,
acts of violence too.
yeah, yeah. It's just like, yeah, that's, and I think it's refreshing to see because that's realistic. That's some real violence, right? Like, it's not some fucking drawn out, emotional, told, bullets whizzing past you. It's like, not your friend was alive and then someone shot him twice, and now you look over, he's fucking dead.
And you don't even like need that because I feel like the movie like just felt like a natural conclusion. Like that felt right for his character to do. You
Fuck Barnes.
yeah. He was about to fucking kill him before the napalm or whatever was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because he was like, his eyes red, like killing the machine.
Bloodlust.
Yeah.
With like a mallet or something. I don't even know who was carrying around like a hammer in the Vietnam jungle. I'm confused who brought that to the AK-47 party. Yeah. Weird choice, but I respect it, I guess.
I didn't even see this. Francis, who survived the battle unharmed, deliberately stabs himself in the leg and reminds Taylor that because they've been wounded twice, they can return home.
He was shouting on the helicopter, maybe?
I don't remember him stabbing himself on purpose.
I don't remember that either.
I didn't know it was Francis, but I saw someone do something. And they
I thought like someone was giving him a shot of adrenaline or something, or I don't know what it could. It didn't look like he had a knife.
He was getting his Purple Heart.
But that's the thing. I mean, all these
who's
things.
Francis?
The black
I think
dude.
he's the black dude
with the nice teeth.
Was he the one who like did the foot thing and like tried to get out? He wasn't king. He was like, sprayed his foot, and then Barnes was like, "Put on your fucking boots. You can't just spray your fucking. You can walk."
I don't remember if that was Francis, but Barnes didn't like Francis, so it might have been.
Barnes didn't like
that guy's name was Junior.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but there's a couple. I mean, everyone's got their own little how to get home, and some people are like close to their requirements of service, and they're counting down the days and making fun of Taylor for Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen's fucking crazy, man. I could see why he turned into this like tiger blood dude. Like after you've been playing in a war movie like that, I mean that's intense.
He also was like not like he was almost like an unreliable narrator. Like he like switched a lot, and you're like, this dude's kind of nuts. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think. I was wondering if what he was writing, he was kind of narrating things, and I didn't know if it was. I mean, it wasn't in letters because they said, like, hey, why aren't you writing anything to people back home? So this was all kind of more like a recollection, which it lends itself to being unreliable.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that Johnny Depp was in this film and he could speak Vietnamese?
Was he the translator, dude?
He was the translator who was talking in the village.
I did not know that was Johnny Depp. I knew he was in the movie, and I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't even make that connection either.
Yeah.
Does he speak Vietnamese in real life?
No.
He diffused that situation very well, so like good props to him.
Oh, well, this website says he almost became completely fluent after several months. I don't think I believe that, but I mean, I'm sure he could speak his lines pretty fluently in a few months, but
Quinn, you're like speaking as if like you learned a Asian language.
Just saying that
something.
People use the term fluently very loosely, and if you don't know anything about a language and you see someone speak a little of some language and they said they were fluent, you'd probably believe them, but
that's coming from someone who doesn't know anything about languages, especially Asian languages.
English, that's all I got here.
Si, senor.
Si, manzana.
Manzana.
Manzana. I want a manzana.
What's a manzana?
Oh, Grant, you don't know manzana?
Oh.
Wasn't in the early lessons?
K.
What do you think it means?
Manzana.
It means apple.
Mm.
Celia's learning a bit of Spanish. She said that, and I was like, "What the fuck does that mean? Like, is it mañana?" I was like,
Cerveza.
tomorrow, and she's like, "It means apple."
Yeah, mañana.
I was
is
like,
tomorrow.
"There's no
Mañana.
way it means apple, but it means apple."
Wait.
K.S. Manzana?
Zapatos.
Quiere es cerveza? No, that's
Quiere.
not.
Love beer.
What is that?
Quiere.
What does that
Quiero.
mean?
Cerveza?
Where is?
Like, want.
I want the
Quiere.
beer. Give me
You
the
want
beer.
beer?
Please
Want
give
beer?
me the beer.
Si, senor.
It's like the Taco Bell commercial.
Did you guys notice when they were leaving that village, there were explosives that went off as they were walking away? So actually, there were some things planted in the village.
Yeah. But I didn't know if they put those there or not.
I would assume no.
But maybe they did.
They were also throwing like grenades down hole. Like I couldn't tell like if it was trying to say what you're saying, like, oh, and I think that makes more sense because that was like the whole, I think, controversy with Vietnam is like most soldiers had to go through with atrocious acts of like killing kids and killing villages because of how often they'd be booby trapped, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I think that's probably what they were going for because I think that was a common theme about the Vietnam War.
Yeah, they were trying to get them to like admit,
Tell them
say like well, I don't know, like, what were they trying to get them to admit?
They were trying to find where the Viet Cong were. Like when they'd last been there, they thought that guy was part of the Viet Cong because of his scars. So they were trying to get him to admit that he was not just a civilian.
Yeah, like it. Yeah,
Right?
reading a little bit in the Wikipedia. Yeah, ask if the villagers have been aiding the NDA.
Because they had like rice and then the weapons, some sort.
Yeah, there were a lot of weapons there.
Why do you need them? When's the last time you saw the Viet Cong? Who was the guy in the river or whatever?
A lot of mother effers, a lot of F-bombs.
For
a lot of
all of these-
noise.
The woman had very stained red teeth. The one who got killed.
I didn't even notice that.
So, foreshadowing that she's going to bleed.
Dude, the young dude who fucking beat the one-legged dude to death.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly.
Just
Yeah.
like fucked up. There's just so much like senseless violence.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, the scene right before that, they got booby trapped and 3 or 4 people died.
Yeah.
And you're like, you just move into this next scenario, and you don't even have time to process or even think. You're just sad and pissed
And I'm kind of thinking the whole time, like, who died? Like, who just died? Because they're in, like, the jungle in, like, helmets. And they all kind of... they kind of look similar.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who the fuck just died?
Yeah, I was like, oh, the white dudes kind of look similar. The black dudes were looking similar. I was like, gotta get my name straight.
Yeah. And then I was just going by, like, group by the end, like, who's still, like, in their split squadron, split platoon. But it... yeah, even like the end too.
Junior's the one that falls asleep. Right?
Did you guys catch the guy cutting off the ears at the end? That's just gross.
No.
When there were all the
like trophies.
yeah, when Charlie Sheen like woke up right after he killed whatever the guy Scarface.
Prawns.
I thought he was getting like a dog tag or something.
No, he cut off someone's ear.
Oh, really? Oh, my.
Yeah. So maybe someone there were a lot of things going on, but I definitely saw one guy bend down with a knife and just start sawing off an ear. And I was like,
Sure wasn't his ear? I think I remember that scene. I think I assumed it was a dog tag or something. But then I was like, with dog tags, do you pick up dog tags of like your own soldiers that die, not enemy soldiers?
Yeah, he was cutting off his ear. I'm pretty sure.
Are dog tags international?
No, I think it's U.S. But maybe it's international. But like the Viet Cong wouldn't have dog tags. They're guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, right.
They just had like thatch hats.
Yeah, no, that guy's ear was getting added to a chain.
Dude,
Well, yeah,
they're international, man. Like everyone has dog tags. South Vietnam is dog tags.
It's probably like a Geneva conference. Standardized war.
I don't think so. I think it's probably helpful just to like know who's fucking dead.
Yeah, if you don't
That's
have
what I'm
time
saying.
to run the dental records.
Yeah. Before you throw them in a ditch.
Yeah, with the big ass
You
bulldozer.
just grab the dog tag and throw them in a ditch and collect the dog tags.
It's messed up, man.
Yeah. I thought Willem Dafoe was really good. He was
I've
young.
always-
This is
I
the
always-
youngest I've seen him.
Yeah, I've never he always looked creepy, but I was like, he's looking
Yeah.
good in this movie.
Who did he
you know?
play?
Elias.
Oh, okay.
And the Green Goblin.
Yeah. Only 2 roles I know.
Yeah, actually, I look at him. Green Goblin guy.
Yeah.
What up? He looks
I wonder-
also. I mean, he's been in a bunch of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
He's the
he's very
voice for
famous.
Ryuk and Death Note. What the fuck?
Yeah, dude.
It's an odd
Random
choice.
as fuck.
Yeah, but I thought it was an enjoyable watch. I think I don't know if it's war movies in general. Like once you start making a movie about war, like it's got to have a message or be a bit unique. You can't just make like a cookie cutter war movie.
I feel like most war movies are cookie cutter.
American
They-
Sniper, pretty cookie
I
cutter.
never watched that one.
It won a
The
bunch
ones
of
on the top
Oscars.
250, I think, are the non-cookie cutter ones.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit harder than I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it brings up some good questions, and to each his
Yeah.
follow orders. What's your role? What's the point of it all? It doesn't really have a lot of answers, but that's war for you.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking like 1917 we watched, that was World War One. We watched Das Boot, which was World War II, but from the perspective, like imagine,
Saving
I think
Private Ryan.
Das Boot was so good because it was like this, but it was in the perspective of the Vietnamese, right? Like
They were on a journey, man. That one was like
that one was also like, yeah, it could have been, I don't know. They weren't like battle. It was just like, it was almost not
underwater.
against war. I mean, not about war. It was like, it was about being, it was, I don't know.
I mean, you're in a
Being in a
submarine, you
situation that you have you can't like do anything about. And you're just in this reality of a, what do they call them?
what?
Das Boot. What do they call the
U-boats?
submarine? U-boats, yeah.
It actually reminds me of that scene in Das Boot where they're checking the pressure. There's something going on, and like their ship almost like imploded or whatever because they were too deep because they were trying to get away. Like that
Oh,
sort of
yeah, yeah.
suspense they had throughout the whole film, but I really had only felt that way during the one scene in this movie where he sees the enemy troops, like after he wakes up, he sees people.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like, yeah, like honestly, I think this film was like, it never, I don't know, it didn't completely blow me away. Like it was interesting, but I didn't think it was like spectacularly made. But also, I don't think I'm a fan of like cinematography in the 80s. I think it was like not a good age of cinema, like the
bump it up
film
a level.
techniques. It was like, yeah, it just didn't.
It won Best Film Editing
Yeah, I wasn't
at
a
the
fan.
Oscars.
And it's a trilogy.
I did not
Really?
know that.
It's the first movie in a trilogy that I don't really have any interest in watching, but it might be one of those trilogies that's like, oh, I mean, I guess they call it a trilogy, but maybe it's not the same people, and but you ride the coattails of a popular movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like different people. Actually, similar actors. William Dafoe. Actually, Tom Cruise is starring in this one.
Pat, it didn't win Best Cinematography, though. So
Just got you there. You just got owned by G.
editing's different than cinematography, bro.
Who won cinematography?
Let's see. I don't know.
Click. Rent.
Rent 1.
Nice.
I thought Rent was like a 90s movie.
Nah, it was just. I literally just.
You just
saying things
made
that
something.
Grant might like.
The Mission.
Look up 1986.
The Mission.
Yeah. That cinematography was really good.
Stars
Well,
Robert De Niro.
All right, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
It's about that time. The GQ Panda Reviewer. We decide what the true rating of Platoon is over under the IMDb rating, and we are sitting at an 8.1 with 406,000 votes. Let me try that again.
I think I'm gonna go. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go under, guys. I liked it. It was good. I thought, honestly, at the beginning, like I don't know if I would say like Charlie Sheen's acting was like great or not. I didn't think this was like a spectacular film. Honestly, when I look at the awards it got, maybe this is just me, but I'm kind of surprised it won all those Academy Awards. Like, I think maybe from a historical aspect, this was like the first kind of humane take of the Vietnam War, and I know it's such a controversial war, and it was showing how fucked up the war was, and from a soldier perspective, there's no winning. It's just fucked. War is fucked. Vietnam War.
The only winning move is not to play, Grant.
Yeah.
Have you seen that phrase elsewhere? After we watched that movie, I started seeing that everywhere.
War Games.
You win, Pat. I mean, I haven't seen it. I don't remember seeing it.
Well, he played the game, so he doesn't win.
Damn it.
Well, he trained on a different game to learn not to play the game, the new game. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm going under.
Under.
What about you, Quinn?
I'm going to go under as well. I think it was good. Like you said, it's kind of an honest observation. Like Charlie Sheen is kind of just, he's not like doing anything spectacular. He's just observing things. And I think the movie and the relationship between soldiers, I think, from what I could tell, it was honest and authentic. So maybe that's why it's so highly rated. But I'm still going to go under. Patrick?
I'm going to go under as well. I feel like it probably didn't age as well as some of the other movies.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just from because it's a low budget. Because I feel like it would, at times I just kind of felt confused. And maybe that was the point of the movie, that it's just chaos and craziness. But it felt like a little, I don't know. Like I felt like there should have been some points where I'm like,
yeah, sometimes it instead of pulling you in the movie, you're like, whoa. You have to take a step back. You're like, what? Like, instead of like drawing you in. And I think suspense generally draws you in. Like that one suspense scene, I feel like probably all of us were like, when he woke up, you're like, what the fuck? He's gonna is he gonna shoot it? And yeah.
And there were some like very good scenes, but it just felt like the pacing was like choppy or something. Like it just felt like, I don't know, kind of weird.
Yeah, I kind of said this at the beginning. It was kind of like up and down, where it's like it wasn't an arc really. And again, like this could be intentional, right? Like to portray kind of war, but like, you know, you're going up and down, and it's an honest take, but yeah, I think you're right. Kind of, it didn't hold. I wish it held up. I liked it enough that I wish it held up probably more.
Yeah, and if I
even
knew
some
more
of the
about...
dialogue was a little dated, you know, a little cheesy, but I don't know if that's just me or like I don't know. It's so interesting because our take is from 2022 when like the way we're used to watching films is completely different. So the way the films, generally the media that we digest is just, it's a different trend. There's different methods. There's different ways to write dialogue,
And like, I feel like maybe it's easy. Like, none of us were like around during the Vietnam War. So like, we can't really like, there was a very clear, like, good side of soldiers and a bad side of soldiers, but maybe it would have been a bit more split. People who are like around in the 80s,
Last question that I just thought of that I wanted to ask was that last airstrike that was called in.
Yes.
Was that kind of on purpose, knowing their soldiers would be injured as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a last-ditch effort.
That's why he said on my call, and then they like confirmed on your call.
Okay, because I was trying to relate that back to the line when they were talking about killing Barnes, and they're like, the only person that can kill Barnes is Barnes. And I was like, oh, the airstrikes. I thought the airstrike's going to kill him because that was like another attempt at, the means are worth the ends. So like, oh, we're going to call in this strike, which is not good for our troops, and it's going to end up killing Barnes, and that's something Barnes would do, like kill one of his own soldiers in order to complete the goal. But then he just died by...
I mean, they were going to die without the airstrike. Like they were fucked. They were fucked. So basically they were like, we're calling the airstrike, everyone get in the bunkers if you can. And
then the bunkers were getting RPG'd.
Yeah, like is... I think probably this movie, like the take on guerrilla warfare, like I think it probably did a good job at like showing how crazy, like it's not any sort of traditional war. Vietnam was known, like I think when I think about Vietnam War, I think about learning like in history like what guerrilla warfare was, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's like, let's talk about Vietnam War and what guerrilla warfare is, because it was, I think, a thing that America didn't even know and was forced to learn in the Vietnam War. And it's just like kind of dirty techniques.
It's like a horror movie.
It's not. And when I say dirty, I don't mean like cheating or anything. It's just like, it's jungle. It's the way they're used to war, in Vietnam.
That's their environment.
That's their environment. That's so. Yeah, I don't know. So 3 unders.
3 unders. What are we doing next week, Grant?
Well, Quinn, he had talked to us before. He said, "Hey, I'm kind of feeling like we're having too much of a good time. Mm-hmm. I think we need a damper. We need to take it down a notch." And Quinn said, "Let's do a bad movie." And me and Pat said, "Yeah,
yes,
what
sir.
do you want? Yes, sir, Mr. McHale." So we're gonna do 1 to 100. You guys can see my tab.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
7.
So is that the seventh worst
it's real
movie?
Bad. Yeah, it's really bad. One of the worst. Saving Christmas, 2014.
Christmas film.
How long? Oh my goodness.
Oh no. Wait.
Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas.
Kirk's sister's annual Christmas
1.3?
party. Yeah. Kirk's sister's annual Christmas party is about to be ruined by Christian, his brother-in-law, and Kirk realizes he has to show Christian how important Christ is to the holiday season.
They made
It's only an hour 20, guys.
it. The budget was $500K and they made $3 million. That's pretty successful.
Won a couple Razzies.
Christ.
So this one they have to see. Is this because it involves
This
Christ?
is probably a
I'm interested.
cheesy. Yeah, it's probably a cheesy Christian. Oh, look at this.
Like
Okay, this is a.
I'm gonna
It
text
says
that
help
right
Kirk
now.
put Christ back into Christmas, and then it says text Christ to 990 to 99000. So this feels like it's kind of a Christian propaganda.
reminds me of that Left Behind movie with Nick Cage that was just apocalyptic, and it was all because people weren't believing in Christ.
Wait, what happened?
Oh,
Alert and message service. This was not a valid keyword response or command. Please check spelling.
I guess Christ is no longer with us
He hasn't
at that
risen.
number. All right, bad movies. I'm looking forward to this a lot.
Wow, number 7.
Number 7, we're coming back strong.
What's number 1? Just out of curiosity. Would you mind pulling that up?
Yeah, I can pull it.
Is it below a 1? Can you do less than a 1?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can. Is that on our list? It's disaster movie.
Okay.
One of the parody films.
It's still, yeah. Me and Quinn watched Epic Movie, which was pretty fucking bad. This
The
was
only
one
one-
of my least favorite ever.
The only one higher than this was Birdemic, which is number 5 that we've watched.
Which
And that
honestly
one-
was more enjoyable than Epic Movie.
I mean, that one's could go in a museum. That one.
Yeah,
was like,
yeah. This is iconically bad. This one is not iconically bad. And I think Disaster Movie is like the same, where you're like, this is just fucking bad, and it's the parody movies are like money grabs, so it makes it even worse. It's like this one is like I don't know what they were trying to do, but it was fucking horrible. And then this one is from 1966, so I'm like kind of want to watch this one. Like this, I'm kind of looking forward to this.
Yeah, like,
It's
how does
Sounds
it
an
mess?
metal as
hour and
fuck,
10.
dude.
Yeah, like, like it's like just so bad.
I feel like you wouldn't even be able to find that movie. Like,
Oh, we'd be. I feel like it's reached
Oh, I see
iconity
it
status.
may have gotten some recognition from Mystery Science Theater. That
okay.
probably.
Okay, yeah.
We can watch now for
Review
free at Tubi. It's a horror.
What'd you
Yeah,
call
it's a
me?
devil cult. The hands of
All right,
fate.
Kirk Cameron's.
Oh my god, dude. No.
Saving Christmas.
Those are the hands of fate. Literally oven mitts that are just huge. Look at the fire behind him. Sorry, quit.
It's all right. I think that's. About
We
wraps
knew
it
this
up.
was gonna be a long one, so it is a long one. Quinn,
Yes.
what's our album?
Well, it's not required reading, but maybe
It is
we'll say something
requiring
about
it.
it. Futures, I Never Liked You. Another trap. It's more of an experiment. I just want to see if a different trap album has any effect on Grant's.
I'm
Response.
curious too. It's an open experiment. I'm experimenting on myself. All right. Thank you all for listening. This was a great time. You can reach out to us via email, feedback at GQ Review. If you want to suggest any movies, any albums, anything. If you disagree with us, agree with us, all the above. Maybe you've seen some real bad movies that don't make the bottom 100 or on it. Just, reach out to us. Feedback at gqreview.com. You also can DM us. You can follow us on social media. We have an Instagram and a Twitter. At GQ Review is our handle. And until next time, we will see you next week with... What are we watching next week? I already forgot it.
Christ in Christmas. Text 9900.
Christ.
Yeah, the Christmas movie. Whatever. All right.
Peace.
Peace.